So here we go again. More bad news about Nintendo, but is it really so bad? Okay, so we all know what's been happening. Nintendo revealed from its investors meeting some information about the immediate and not so immediate future. And yeah, for the most part, it's maybe not so great, and people are losing their minds. It is the Nintendo doomed ship all over again. And I do understand why, but I'm going to hope to be able to put a little bit of perspective on this because it may seem shocking or surprising, but for myself, as a diehard Nintendo fan, I'm not really that angry or freaked out about this, and I'll explain why. So, what's actually happening? I guess the first thing is Zelda's delayed. So we thought Zelda was going to come out this year, October, November, holiday time, 2016, mostly because Nintendo absolutely did promise us that that was what was happening, and it's delayed to March next year, March 2017. So yes, like 11 months from now, like almost a year from now. That sucks. That's super bad news. I was really excited to play Zelda, and Zelda should be coming out this year, and it's not coming out this year. The big thing is the Nintendo NX. The Nintendo NX appears to also be launching in March 2017. So the Nintendo NX is not a 2016 product. It's not a 2016 launch. Not coming out this year in November like we all thought. It's coming out March next year. And that is probably the most fine thing I've heard from all this information. I have no problems with that. There are actually elements of that I approve of, that I actually think was smart. I'm kind of glad that it's coming out next year. March is a weird time, but it's not necessarily a bad time like some people want to think. I'll get into that in a minute. Going back to Zelda, it is officially getting a simultaneous Wii U and NX release, so it is pulling a Twilight Princess. That was crazy. That was shocking news. And it's weird that it was shocking because so many of us expected it. I really expected it. I mean, I would have even put money on it. I believed in that happening so much. Yet, even though it's now official, I still feel kind of shocked by it, which I can't really understand or explain, but that's okay, you know, and so that's what's happening, and that's fine. I mean, I'll probably be playing that NX version. I don't need to buy it for the Wii U, and I think that that's totally okay. Now, the big thing. Here's the thing that I am the most upset about. Nintendo, so far, they haven't given us all the details, but so far they say they're not going to reveal or showcase the NX at E3. Okay, that's kind of a weird choice, and I think that kind of sucks, but okay, that's not going to be there. And then they also say that Zelda will be their focus of their entire show, and it's also going to be the only playable game on their show floor. Zelda, the Wii U version, only playable version on the show floor. And we don't know what that means as far as their presentation or a press conference. We don't know what that means for any other games or content or titles they may actually be showing at E3, whether it's at a Nintendo Direct kind of thing like they've done the last couple of years or in any other capacity. We just don't know what that means. Now, they have released, through this information, they have said that they will be detailing very soon their complete E3 plans. So I'm holding on to hope that that means that there is something else that's going to be happening. Like, if there's only one game playable on the floor, I guess I don't really care because I'm not going, and I'm pretty sure that most of you aren't going, so that's not going to affect us. But what would affect us is if they have nothing else to even show or talk about. I want to see live streams and Nintendo Directs and interviews and press releases and trailers for other titles beyond just Zelda. If they literally go into E3 with nothing but Zelda to show and talk about and for people to play, that is bad news. That is really, really shocking. So that's the whole picture. That's everything that's happened today. And people are like, Nintendo's doomed. They're screwing Wii U owners over. Zelda's taking as a year away. The NX is next year. What are we going to do? What are we going to play this year? Blah, blah, blah. I've been talking with some very good friends, podcast peeps and stuff about it this morning as well. And I get it. I'm at the point where I for sure do not blame anyone for being pretty miffed, you can say, about this. I'm sure most of you are like, I'm not miffed, I'm fucking pissed. And that makes sense. Like, you know, I should give the disclosure that this is all not great news. Like, the only thing I'm actually happy with, quote unquote happy with, is the information that the NX is coming out next year in 2017. That actually makes me happy. I'm totally okay with that. The whole thing is the internet, we all started to just create this world where we all believed and guessed that the NX was coming out in 2016. And, from the get-go, I was saying I don't think it will come out in 2016. I don't think it should come out in 2016. 2017 makes so much more sense. It's 5 years from the Wii U's release. And, I absolutely have in this last couple of months started to realize, man, all signs point to it coming to 2016. So I started to believe that it would come out this year, by the end of this year in 2016. But I'm still going to go back to what I was originally saying. I'm okay with it coming out in 2017. That is fine. The Zelda thing. Let's talk about the Zelda thing. So Zelda is getting an NX release, and it's coming out next year, March 2017. It sucks. I wanted to play Zelda this year, like I said in the beginning here, but I don't think that... I don't know. It doesn't bother me. People talk about the Wii U has nothing else to do this year. 2016 is done for the Wii U. That's definitely what all this information said to me. I should add this part, that this is all saying that Nintendo, unfortunately, has given up on 2016. Star Fox just came out. Zelda, their only other big title for the year, has been delayed to next year. It's getting a port to their next generation hardware. And I know that there's like the Tokyo Mirage Fire Emblem game coming out soon. I do know a couple of people, Terrell, who I do the podcast with. Some people are very excited for that. It's probably going to be very good. I'm no longer interested in it now that I've seen what kind of game it is. It's different than I was expecting. But even regardless, I don't think that game is going to sell very well in anywhere outside of Japan. Like, I think it's great that it's releasing outside of Japan. More people get to play it. It is another game that will release on the Wii U. Excuse me. That will release on the Wii U this year for Nintendo fans. That's really cool. But it's not going to make a big splash, you guys. Unless it's like so good and it's getting perfect 10s and people buy it who otherwise wouldn't. It's not going to make a big splash. It's not even in English. Like, the whole thing is subtitled. It's very goofy J-pop kind of stuff. It's for a very specific audience. So Star Fox just came out, and that's it now. And unless they show more at E3, which again, maybe they will. That's why they said we will detail plans for E3 soon. So sometime between now and June, they're going to be telling us, hey, this is what we're actually doing at E3. I'm willing to bet, I'm going to hold on to hope, you guys, that they are going to have a couple of other games to talk about. Paper Mario is one of them. Maybe they show more on Tokyo Mirage. Maybe they reveal a surprise other game or two for the Wii U. Like maybe not, obviously not a huge game, but one or two kind of quirky things that might still be fun titles worth picking up. Maybe they show more for the actually, I'm sure they'll show more for the 3DS. That's probably going to be the main system we'll be playing for Nintendo coming up. But this whole idea of them abandoning 2016 and screwing Wii U owners over and stuff, like, it's not that bad. Like, Nintendo is, I think that what they're doing is they're taking the necessary time to make sure that their next console launch is proper. I think that they're so worried about not repeating the mistakes of the Wii U, which I talked about in a video recently, that hopefully they can have learned from the mistakes of the Wii U and make the NX a better launch and a better system throughout its life. I think that that's what's happening. So they are, even more than I ever anticipated, they're diverting their resources, anything that was focusing on the Wii U at this point, between now and a year from now when the NX launches, they're diverting it all to the Wii U, or to the NX, which includes the Zelda team and Aonuma and all the people working on that game and what's happening there. The whole thing, everything is going to the NX. I guess the whole thing is I kind of expected this. Or I shouldn't say I expected this. I should say I didn't expect anything more for this year. That's, I think, the crux of my whole feeling here, is I'm trying to feel it out as I'm talking to you. I didn't expect anything more. Like, we already knew Star Fox was the last game until Zelda, and then it's like, well, there's Zelda, and we don't know what's going to happen with the NX. Like, if everyone was hedging their bets and relying the entire rest of their gaming year, or their Wii U year, just on 2016 and everything happening, then you were crazy. You weren't thinking right, and you weren't paying attention to the writing on the wall, to what Nintendo was doing. They obviously were preparing this to happen. They were preparing us for this to happen, I should say. Having Star Fox be that last game and only Zelda and then nothing else, we were all just assuming that the NX was going to release this year and it was going to make up for all this lost time. And it's like, oh, it doesn't matter if there's only a handful of games throughout 2016 because the NX will come out and make everything okay. Well, that was everyone's guess and their assumption. And yes, I agree. I started to think, wow, maybe this really is going to come out in 2016, but we never knew that. We never had the concrete information. Nintendo never said that. This is what all the rumors do to people. It's very dangerous. It puts ideas in people's heads, and so everyone was investing all of their time and their emotional gaming weight on Nintendo on 2016, the NX coming out this year, Now, Zelda is the one that's fair because they are kind of lying about Zelda, and that sucks, you guys. Like, all of this sucks. It should be noted, it's not like I want any of this to happen. I'm just not mad about it, and I think that I saw this coming. That's the thing that I wish other people were kind of seeing it. Everyone is like, oh, I'm getting screwed over, Nintendo's screwing me over, and they're screwing gamers over. And it's like, well, they're making some really tough decisions, and these decisions really aren't all that great. But you know what? They had to do it, I think. If March 2017 was when they were planning on releasing the NX, and they probably knew that for a long time, then these are the things that they kind of have to do. I mean, they could release Zelda this year, and actually they still should release Zelda this year. So I will agree with you guys on that. But you know what? At this point, like, I'm going to play the NX version. I think most of us, if they were releasing Zelda this year, we'd all say, like, I'll just wait for the NX version in March. That's probably what most of us would do. You know, and yes, there's the 13 million Wii U owners who still want to play Zelda, and it's like, well, you know what? Though you can still buy that version. You can still play it. If they're not taking the Wii U version away from you, they're still releasing it. But of course, we're all going to want to play the NX version. It's just like Twilight Princess. We all did that with Twilight Princess. It's kind of dumb of them to do it again. Like, I'm not going to give them a total pass here, but because of the way 2016 had been playing out, they'd basically been telling us, you guys, there's nothing else to look forward to this year. Mizzy said this, like, and I agree with this for the most part. They're doing what they did with the Wii, where they kind of let the Wii have like just kind of die and fade off into obscurity for like a year and a half before the Wii U came out, and that was too bad. And it's too bad it looks like it's happening again, but I think it's going to make for a better launch of the NX overall. Once we see the NX, you guys, if the NX is pretty cool, I think we're all going to just forget this. This is just today's gut reaction. This is what the internet does. We're all knee-jerk, and that's what we're doing, and everyone's like, oh, it's all over. It's doomed. Nintendo's screwing us. And you know what? Like, they can't... I get that they can't do anything other than Zelda at E3. I hate that. That's the biggest mistake I think they're making, but I know why they're doing it, because everything they're doing other than Zelda for the Wii U is NX. So if they're not prepared to talk about the NX at E3... they got nothing else to show. People aren't going to have NX controllers in their hands to play games with. They're not ready to show us what games are coming out on the NX. Are we getting Luigi's Mansion? Are we getting a Metroid? Are we getting a new Mario? We don't know that stuff yet, but I'm sure we'll find out soon. So I'm hoping that we get like a couple of new game announcements for 2016 at E3. I'm not expecting anything huge, but like some weird one-off games that might be fun and worth playing on Nintendo. And then, you know, I bet within a month after E3, they're going to give us an NX presentation. Maybe a little bit later. Maybe like end of summer, early fall, August, September time. It's probably when they'll reveal the NX and, you know, date it and price it and everything for March. You know, and I need to add this one last thing. Yes, a lot of this information sucks. You know, it's too bad that Nintendo's doing some of these things. I think it's going to create better stuff down the road, and I bet the NX is going to have an amazing launch, and we'll all look back on this and say, wow, it sucked then, but it was the best move to make for right now. That's what I'm thinking. But I have to also add, this is why I don't recommend people be a one company or one console only gamer. I'm willing to bet that part of the reason I'm not so stressed about this is I have other games to play. I have a PlayStation 4 I use a lot. I have an Xbox One I use a lot. I have a PC that I use on occasion fairly regularly, not as much as my consoles, but like I've got other games to play and I have other systems to use, and that's why it's healthy to do that. You know, I mean, Nintendo's my favorite. So all of you Nintendo gamers out there who only have a Wii U and you're so mad about this, like, I get it. The Wii U is my favorite console too. It's what I play the most, but it's not my only one for reasons like this. So you know what? Nintendo needs a year to sort their shit out and make their next console awesome. That's fine. I'll play the other guys' stuff for a while. Like, I'll continue to do that while you get your stuff ready to go. I'd rather give my company that time. It's like a rebuilding year. For anyone into sports, you know, NFL teams, you know, Broncos are my team, obviously. We're about to go into a rebuilding year. We don't have Peyton Manning. Our defense is all over. We don't know what's happening with our offensive line. The Broncos, what a weird coincidence. I had to bring this up when I'm wearing this hat. But you know what? Like, we're Super Bowl champions. We're probably going to be rebuilding. We don't have a freaking quarterback. And you know what? Nintendo basically lost their Peyton Manning because the Wii U, they're having to step away from it. You know, they have no Zelda for this year. Star Fox just came out. They're going to have to rebuild. And if they need this time to make the NX awesome, I'm just happy to give it to them. I think that's my approach here. Is I'm happy to give it to you, Nintendo. You better deliver, so don't fuck that up. But you know, I have other games to play, and it's why if you only have a Wii U, you probably should be more angry than I am, because that you've hedged all of your gaming bets on one console, and I don't think that that's healthy to do anymore. So I applaud you for having great taste and loving Nintendo and the Wii U for sure, but you're obviously putting yourself in a bad position now, aren't you? Because you don't have anything else to play, and you know. The argument exists, yes, Nintendo should have more stuff leading into the Wii U's launch, or the NX's launch, sorry, but you know, that's just not how they're doing things, and it sucks. There's good and bad here, you guys. Like, I acknowledge the bad, but the bad's not making me that mad. The only thing that makes me mad so far is E3, and I really hope that they figure E3 out soon and they give us some good information. So, you know, that's what's going on. Crazy Nintendo news. I know everyone's really pissed and upset. I'm hoping to have leveled it out a little bit. You've heard one person's opinion who isn't crazy angry about all this, and I think that that's all going to be fine. So that's what's going on. Share your thoughts about this crazy news below, guys. This is Rob with Rule 2 Review, and I'll catch you guys next time on another video.